Knives never jam and they never run out of bullets. Guys, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist. Today we're going to be talking about fixed blade knives for defensive purposes. Knives have always had a place in the role of defensive weapons. Even in the era of firearms, knives have had a place. The bayonet still has a place today. A sharp metal object with a good tip will cause quite a bit of damage when used the right way, and that hasn't changed. Today knives still have a place for defensive applications. Remember, folks, to respect your own laws wherever it is that you are. Laws change from country to country, state to state. Just make sure you do know them and do follow them. Having said that, I have an email here from someone asking about knives for self-defense. Says, hello Furfile, I'm curious if you have any advice on purchasing and carrying fixed blade knives for self-defense. I usually carry the large or extra large vaquero folder. This knife that I have recommended in the past, great folding knife for defense, but I am concerned that if I were attacked, I would not get the knife out of my pocket and open it in time. Thanks, from Curtis. Okay, yes, it is a topic sometimes brought up, the issue of speed, the advantage of speed from a fixed blade knife compared to a folding knife. In the case of a folding knife, you have to bring it out of your pocket, open it, and then use it. In the case of a fixed blade knife with a good sheath, you just pull it out and it's ready to go. That's an advantage. Now, how fast is that? Again, folding knife, you bring it out of your pocket and you open it. How fast can you do that? It will depend on your personal ability, the design of the knife, and such. We can say a couple things. First of all, yes, we can say that a fixed blade knife will be faster than a folding knife. Bringing it out of the pocket, opening it, that's an extra step right there. And here we just have one, you get it out and that's that. You just go to work with that. So it is faster, that much we can say. How faster is it? Here is where things go like, well, is it half a second faster? Is it a full second faster? How faster is it? We can say at least that it is faster. Now, how much, in terms of convenience, how much are you willing to trade one for the other? Is the folding knife, is it more convenient than the fixed blade knife for carrying around? I've carried a cold steel vaquero grande, like similar to this one, for years at a time, every single day. Guys, in Argentina I had these with me every single day for years, right? And even in jeans, it was not a problem for me. It was always there, always. And you know, I just don't see myself doing that with a fixed blade every single day. So in terms of convenience, I just think that the folding knife is more convenient than the fixed blade knife. Something else, notice the size difference. Because it folds, because it's a folding knife, right, you can get away with carrying a significantly larger blade. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic little fixed blade knife. We're going to be getting into that and some of my recommendations for fixed blade knives in a second. But notice the size difference here. This tip is going to be penetrating just as well, and this one is going to be slashing even better than this fixed blade knife. Yet at the end of the day, when these two are folded, when this is folded and this one is kept in its sheath, you have pretty much almost the same overall length in both cases, even greater overall length here in this smaller fixed blade knife. All right, the advantage besides speed is strength. With a fixed blade knife, any fixed blade knife, may that be a bayonet, may that be even the tiny Gerber Guardian that we're looking at here, it is a stronger design. A fixed blade is going to be always stronger than the folding knife. The folding knife is a broken knife. That's somewhat of the saying, and to some extent that's kind of true. It is true. The folding knife will be weaker than the fixed blade knife, so it's faster and it's stronger. At the same time, the folding knife is more convenient and you can have even a bigger blade. The matter of convenience is quite significant. When we talk about firearms and we talk about handguns being underpowered, having less capacity, less accuracy, sure, they have all those disadvantages, but you can have a handgun with you every single day, but you cannot carry a rifle with you every single day. The ability to actually carry it is very important, and that's what happens here as well. Now, having said that, even though fixed blades are stronger, you have some fantastic folding knives as well. The Cold Steel Vaquero, it's a very strong knife with that triad lock. That's very strong. The Zero Tolerance would be another very beefy, strong knife that, even though not as strong as a fixed blade knife, man, you do have quite a good amount of strength. How important is that? Well, I wouldn't be mentioning it if it wasn't important. One of the things that happens in knife fights or in violent confrontations where a knife is involved, so as to put it some other way, is that knives do break. What happens is that sometimes people don't think about all these things, but once you start reading and learning and researching more, you find recurrent incidents happening. One of those things that I've noticed when reading reports from fights where knives were used is how many times knives have broken, knives have snapped. That's very important. It's usually because, you know, a fight being such a violent incident, you have maybe a 200-pound guy, a 180-pound guy coming after you. You're doing your best to defend yourself. You know, it gets very graphic very fast, but basically you're talking about flesh, bone getting caught, and bodies moving with all their weight, the momentum, you pumping adrenaline and applying quite a bit of force of your own. Blades do snap a lot in fights. Another thing that happens a lot in fights is that blades get out of, you lose the grip of your knives. Knives fall in fights a lot. In confrontations, in fights where knives are being used, knives do fall a lot from people's hands. That's something else that you learn from reading after action reports of incidents and attacks. Again, violent physical situation, this is very likely to happen. So, knowing that, avoid any silly grips or, you know, funny stuff like that. Go for a very strong, secure grip always. That's more important than trying anything silly out there. This brings us to another topic, which is the grip design that you want. You want something that it's compact and flat enough so as to be carried, such as this case. This is a Cold Steel Kobun. Older knife. I don't think Cold Steel is making it anymore. If they do, I'm going to be leaving the links below for some of these stuff. Cold Steel, this is carbon 5, made in US. Nice, very flat profile. It goes along nicely with this sheath. Older style of sheath. These days you see more kydex being used. This is a leather side here and nylon on this other side. Spring steel clip so as to attach it on the inside the waistband type of carry. Very flat profile, but the grip is not as comfortable. Still, I have carried this knife on a few occasions whenever I needed a little bit extra. Whenever I wanted a fixed blade knife for defense, I have carried in Argentina this knife a few times. Same with this one, the Gerber Guardian Backup. Loveless design, very well designed, obviously intended for penetration, but you have, you know, in spite of having somewhat of a thinner handle, even though not that much thicker, maybe same thickness, but the good design makes it for a very comfortable little knife in spite of the size. It's just enough so as to have a good proper grip on it, very secure, good little strong knife. One more thing, final thing that I'm going to be mentioning, the sheath. How important is it? The sheath is crucial to how practical the fixed blade knife is. Fixed blade knives being carried for defense, they are going to be smaller, many times smaller than some of the folding knives that you have, simply because the overall length cannot be modified like in a folding knife. So that's always going to be an issue. You're going to be having, in general, smaller knives. The exception to that, one of the great nice fixed blade knives for defense that I have carried the most in my case was the cold steel Kobun. Gonna be leaving the link there below. I just checked, it's available in Amazon for 33 bucks. I don't have it here with me because it stayed in Argentina in a kit that I left over there just in case. But that's the knife that whenever I went for a fixed blade knife in Argentina, that's the one I carried. That's the one that I would recommend to you if you're thinking about getting a fixed blade knife for defense and you're thinking of carrying that knife hopefully on everyday basis, or if not, like I did, it's a knife that will not be problematic to carry. It's very comfortable. You have the great grip, you have a great blade shape as well, a very flat profile and an excellent sheath that makes that knife just a pleasure to carry around. You just forget about it until you actually need it. Maybe one of the best, yeah, I mean, it is probably the best concealed carry knife, fixed blade knife that I found so far. Again, I didn't carry that every day. For me, an everyday defensive use knife is gonna be a folding knife. But if you're gonna be going for a fixed blade, Kobun, this one is also a pretty nice knife. Remember the sheath. The sheath is very important. It's going to be making the difference in a knife being comfortable to carry around or not. The cold steel Kobun has a very nice sheath for inside the waist carry. Here the Guardian has maybe one of the nicest sheaths that I found. It can be regulated, the tension required to push it in and out and remove it from the sheath. The clip can be removed with a coin and rotated 180 degrees for lots of options of carrying. This is a nice boot knife. The sheath is pretty much the same thing as when you look at guns. You know, a gun, how comfortable is it to carry concealed? It all depends on the holster that you have and the belt that you have. Sometimes people get caught on gun sizes because they think that a smaller gun is going to be more comfortable and easy to carry around. That's just nonsense. The only important factor in terms of handguns is going to be the holster. A good holster along with a good belt, that's what's going to be making a handgun comfortable to carry around or not. With a good holster and a good belt, you can even carry around a Glock 17 all day long. It's not going to be a problem. Even if you go with a much smaller handgun, if you have a poor holster and a poor belt, that's going to be a problem in spite of the smaller size. Same thing with a fixed blade knife being carried for defense. You just need a good sheath with that fixed blade. Here you have one with the cold steel Kobun as well. And remember to have a good belt such as this one to go along with it. Folks, that's all for now. Remember to subscribe and share the video if you did enjoy it. Thumbs up would be appreciated as well. Take care, have a great day, and see you on our next video.